I'm back-ish. So if you didn't know, my family and I caught COVID early September, and the last few weeks have been really tough. We had some pretty scary moments, a couple of trips to the ER, but thankfully, me and my family are on the mend. Um, it was a very crazy experience in a number of different reasons. So I did post a picture last week. I wanted to do a live because it's been such a long time since I did lives and I kind of missed it. But I just wasn't really feeling up to it. I'm feeling a little bit better, still a little winded, so I might sound a little funny and coughing. But I wanted to share with you all some of the lessons that I learned. And I did share a couple of them before with COVID because it's such a crazy experience if you've had to go through it. And hopefully you haven't. And hopefully families are doing okay. But it's really impactful because there's not a whole lot you can do about what's happening. And that's a really crazy position to be in. Also, you're just kind of existing. So I kind of lost several weeks of my life, which is just really weird to have that be the experience. But I'm really thankful to be here, thankful to be getting a little bit back into things. And I just wanted to share, I guess. And I wanted to get back into doing videos because I've got some new stuff that's coming, content that I'm really going to be excited to share with all of you. So I thought this would be a great first one. So number one thing, life is fragile. It really is. It's really fragile. So what are you tolerating or accepting or not prioritizing that maybe you should be shifting? It's really something to kind of just take a look at, and don't get COVID or another illness before you start to really think about that. Like really take some time to think about what your life looks like and what it is that you're allowing or not allowing. Because if there's one thing you can control, it's you. And so think about that for yourself. Take that time to really do a look at yourself because you have that control over what's going on around you to an extent. And the things that you can change, you should be proactive in changing. Number two, having a choice is valuable. Now, when you're sick, like I was, I couldn't do anything like at all. Even things like eating or working out or standing or sleeping on your back, like things like that. You really didn't have any control over. I didn't have any control over. I wasn't able to have that choice anymore. So being able to choose is such an amazing thing to be able to have that ability. So choose well when you're thinking about the choices for yourself. Think about whether it's pushing you towards your goals or not, and maybe start doing some adjusting there. A lot of the work that we have to do as business owners involves working in the business, but it involves a lot more of us working on ourselves. And so the better you discipline you can be for you, the more intentional you can be for you, the better a business owner and leader you'll be for yourself, your company, your clients, your customers, all of it, your families especially. So think about those kind of things. And on that note, time flies unless you're intentional. So if you haven't been intentional about your time, I would challenge you to really start making it intentional. The funny thing is that right before I got sick, I had started to block off time in my calendar to really work on like the last quarter of this year because I've got some big goals and some things that really need to happen in quarter four in order for 2022 to be really good for us and our company. And I knew that I needed to set aside very dedicated, intentional time to work on those things instead of getting distracted like I have in the past. So my schedule has been blocked off for that, which was good because I didn't have as many meetings then to like cancel and reschedule. But I thought it was kind of ironic because as soon as I was like, I'm going to start being intentional, I got sick and didn't have any control over my time. But now that I'm getting back to it, I can once again be intentional. So I would challenge you, if you have struggled with time management, start thinking about how you can do things better. One thing that's helped me is to color code my calendar and also set aside blocks of time to work on things. So setting a timer for 30 minutes to an hour to do something specific and not get distracted by anything else. Also, checking email at certain times of the day is a really great way to not be distracted. The fourth thing is that who you put yourself around matters. When I was sick, we had so many people, family, friends, colleagues, people I didn't even really know that well, that were just reaching out and asking if there was anything that they could do for us. And that was really, really great to have that. And so oftentimes we succeed or fail by who we have in our corner. So if you don't have people in your corner, or if you're a business owner and you feel really alone, get into a community. There are amazing chambers throughout Wisconsin. I'm also part of the Idea Collective. We have a retreat coming up in November that's all just really a lot of business owners just really available for each other. And there's so many other organizations like that. So if you haven't gotten plugged in somewhere, make sure you do that, because it's really super important to have people in your corner when you're doing this journey of business ownership and really just life in general, because things come up like COVID or just life in general. There's always something. Having people in your corner can make a huge difference in how you're able to deal with it. And then the final thing is as I was sick and thinking about just like what was going to happen next once I got better, and even just like looking backwards while I was sick, my team was able to really support our organization and continue to show up for our clients. And if I hadn't spent the time building that team, who knows how that would have went. Like 3 weeks is a long time to be out of being able to do anything. And so I'm very thankful for my team. But that's what you have to ask yourself as well. If you're a business owner, where do you want it to go? What do you want out of your business? What are the things that you want to see from being a business owner? Because there should be something. There should be a reason outside of making lots of money, because that's usually not the reason that's sustainable. However, it could be the reason if it has a purpose behind it. But you really got to think about that. Like, what do I want out of my business? Where do I want it to take me? What do I want it to do for me? For me, over the last 8 years, it's really been, the financial backbone for my family, but it's also been the source of flexibility for me to be able to provide for my kids. And even now, like with COVID, I was able to take this time to heal as my team still runs everything in the background. And that's something that's really valuable, and you can't really put a price on it. So if you haven't thought about that, as we're going into Q4, finishing up the year, getting ready for the new year, think about what you want out of your business. Think about the end goal in mind. And that's something that should continue to change. Like my end game has shifted so many times. Even over the last year, it's changed. Again, like my 3-year plan is completely different than what it was at the beginning of last year. But it is something that helps drive whatever happens after that. So you start with the end in mind, because then your actions follow through after that. So those are my lessons for COVID. Stay tuned, because we have a lot of really amazing things happening at Sidekick, and I'm really super excited to share those with you. If you are looking for an accountant or tax preparer or tax planner and you need some help, make sure you reach out. You can text consult to the number on the thing, and it'll set you up with a link to get scheduled. Otherwise, feel free to join our Facebook group. We're going to start getting that a lot more active again. All right. Have a good one. Talk to you later.